better safe than sorry with this, again, the current world we live in. That's my feeling, at least. Oh hey, I didn't know that was there. I wonder if that's a case of, like, because we used to start going in, it spawns a star there. Because I don't remember that being there normally. Oh yeah, there's something really dirty at the end of this fortress, I remember now. Like, you have to, like, slide under a section with a rotodisc. Like, it's really rude. There's some Lost Levels BS right here. Yeah, here, you have to, like, slide under the structure. You also have dry bones. I don't know how you didn't take a hit the first time, but that was remarkably smooth. I want Boom Boom, like, in a good spot. I almost completely biffed that at the very end. That would have been really upsetting to have that, like, clutch save earlier, and then botch it on the easy part. Wouldn't be surprised, though. My play has been very sloppy tonight. I want a head pat emote, I want a hug emote, and I want a lurk emote. Those are the top priorities for me. Because those are, like, emote types that I would actually use fairly regularly. No more mushrooms, so we'll just use a star, I guess. This stage is mean. There's actually an exploit on NES where if you pause, the munchers will keep moving. You got many emotes waiting for when you can use them. Yeah, that's fair. I think Silver made a drawing and offered for me to use that as an emote. And I should really ask them about that now that I think about it. We're using a Fire Flower just to have a extra hit going into this, because this can be a little bit mean. But we are actually approaching the home stretch finally. We got a Yoshi for some reason. And obviously there's voice situational emotes. I would like a sip emote, to be honest, because one, I need to remember to hydrate. And two, I just think it's funny. Like, I really like sassy sip emotes. Like, when you can just feel the energy coming off of a sip emote, I think that's very powerful. Alright, I'm kind of focusing on this mode, or on this stage. Yeah, this is definitely easier to control than Mario 1. You can also do a shortcut here if you quickly move this bolt over and jump up. You can get this little, like, item. Not a huge deal, you can get it from the other side, but you can get it faster that way. Alright, final Koopa. Never mind. I forgot there was more. How do these airships function? Because there's, like, very little actual connective, like, platforms to some of these. You just have a little rotor, like, fan attached to a little tiny platform. Some Tears of the Kingdom-ass building techniques being employed by Bowser here. Alright. Also, I'm glad I remember the shout-out command. I often don't. So, I'm getting better at this, apparently. Because, yeah, like, Star rated a while back and I forgot. I felt really bad after, because it's like, oh, I should have done a shout-out command. Kamek and the Magic Koopas may have enchanted. Oh, yeah, that's true. Magic airships. Yeah, that would explain it. You have 2 more airships to go after this, by the way. So we have Ludwig Von Koopa, right? Is it Von Koopa? I think it is. Yeah, that checks. Yeah, it is actually faster to let it drop. I remember partway through, it's like, oh wait, I shouldn't be doing that. I think in German, it would actually be Ludwig, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard people just say like Ludwig. Which just kind of makes you think of this streamer who I actually don't think I've ever watched. I just know him by cultural osmosis, like, because people talk about Ludwig all the time. This is also not a letter from the princess. This is the cake is a lie. Yeah, it's a letter from Bowser. No item for us this time. A little bit of a mood whiplash, having the perfect clear screen after that. Alright, so final stretch. Again, this is a long-ass stream. Again, I was kind of like, yeah, this will probably be 2.5 hours, is now looking like a 3-hour stream. It's fine. Also, this level's like, this world is like 80% auto-scrollers. It's really slow, so not my favorite thing in the world. I also don't know who's gonna get the final Bowser fight. Mario Luigi. Kinda depends on how much I die on these stages. Like, I'm not gonna rig it, obviously, but I'm genuinely curious to see who we end up fighting and defeating Bowser with. I don't really want to leave here. This one's weird, too, because, like, you don't fight Boom Boom. You fight, like, a Boomerang Bro. Also, have we... No, we would have seen a Boomerang Bro in World 2. That's right. Big Cannon. Yeah, I am trying to figure out what I'm doing with my voice today. I feel like I'm not, like, super unhappy with my voice today, but it definitely feels like I'm not sounding as femme as I could. I also got, like, you know, a very jaunty tune for the severity of this fight, which is a little bit jarring. So I have a story. Auto-scrollers are a great time to tell stories, so I'm gonna talk about this here. I remember the first time I got to World 8 as a kid. Still, I remember. I got all the way here. I don't remember if it was with warps or with any other, you know, or like legit. Like, I don't remember how I got this far. I remember like every world in this game, but I don't remember individual levels from my childhood. So a lot of the game I definitely did grow up with. More so than Mario 2, where there's a lot of like blank spots in my history. So with Mario 3, I remember getting to World 8, specifically like 8-2, I think? Or 8-1, I think. And I was like so happy. I'd never made it that far, and then I had to go to church. So I had to turn off the game, and therefore lost all my progress. So yeah, that's an interesting childhood story. And then it took me until the GBA version to actually... And then my NES broke. So then it took me until the GBA version to actually finish the game for real. You think I sound family enough? Oh, thank you. Also, hi, Esper. Hope you're doing well. I feel like the stream's been very interesting energy-wise, because this is a game that I've just kind of been talking a lot about, like... Not even gushing about, but just kind of like info dumping about in a way that I couldn't really do with Mario 2. So it's been a very different like energy, and I think that's why I'm not like tired despite streaming for almost 3 hours. It's just I've been kind of riding that high all this time. I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna try to skip all these because Mario has all the P-Wings. You also have that slow... I recognize that voice line. I think that's from Sunshine, when Bowser Jr. is kidnapping Peach and running away. So the hands are random. Famously, this is like one of the worst parts of speedruns because it's like random, so you can actually have like a perfect run sabotaged by like having to do a hand stage. I'll give you leaves though, so the first collectible leaf we've gotten because we've only been getting fire flowers. But it is a random chance, so there's a chance that we'll just skip past it and won't even have to do the level. However, I know my luck, which means, let's see, Luigi's next, then Mario. So I would rather have Mario do the airship, because this is like the worst airship in the game. And I almost always use a P-Wing. Well, that sucks. Not the worst thing in the world, but it definitely still sucks. I do feel like my overall voice tone is a little bit flat, which does make me wonder how that might sound. If I try to like pitch up more, I think that would help. Hey! So we'll P-Wing. We have 2 left. So yeah, my strategy for this level is just mash A. Another nice thing about having the noise cancellation is it'll probably drown out some of the A mashing. At least I hope it will. Though I'm also holding my controller away from the mic. You can really tell this game runs at 60 FPS in this specific stage because the scrolling is very smooth. It's actually very impressive. Even on GBA, this is very impressive. But yeah, after I beat the game for the first time, I just kind of kept playing it a lot as a kid. I got really good at this game as a kid, and a lot of GBA games. Mario & Luigi's another one where I got stuck on the final boss. Once I actually got past the final boss, I literally, like, drilled it to the point where I could get through it no problem. So, like, Cackletta, well, I guess not really Cackletta, it's complicated. But that fight is, like, very difficult, actually. But I feel like I'm very comfortable with it at this point. Not with the 3DS version, because the timings and everything are so different, and the physics are so different for the battle system, that I do feel like I screw up that a lot, even though I generally do okay at the GBA version of Superstar Saga. Like, if I stream the game, it'll obviously be the GBA version. By the nature of, like, not having a good way to capture 3DS. But also familiarity, because if we play the GBA version, I can blast through that game in, like, 2.5 streams, maybe 3 streams. It'll probably be like 10 hours, but yeah, about 3 streams if I push it. Superstar Saga is a remarkably short game by RPG standards, and especially from what it sounds like, compared to Brothership, which sounds like a absolute marathon by comparison to Superstar Saga being like very like brief by comparison. This stage is stressful. Again, this is as far as I got as a kid, I'm pretty sure. Again, due to having to turn the game off, as described before. But beyond that, this level's not that bad. Why did I almost describe this as a Christianity debuff of not being or like the reason why I wasn't able to finish the game as a child. I feel like that's a very, like, I don't know if that's a good way to put that, actually. Alright, so there's an interesting shortcut here if you go into the sand. I'm pretty sure you can actually despawn the Angry Sun on NES if you take this shortcut route. So I highly recommend it, because otherwise you have to do like note block platforming while the Angry Sun is trying to kill you, and that's like kind of miserable. So yeah, also you get a power up, so I would recommend going this way for sure. I feel like if we end up doing a raid, I actually need to ask the legitimate question of how sacrilegious do we feel like being? Which is an odd question to need to ask during a Mario 3 playthrough, and yet, may actually be a relevant question. I'm pretty sure as a kid I even got to like 99 lives. Like, that's how much I loved this game, that I just literally got to 99 lives. It might have been as Mario and Luigi both, to be honest. Max sacrilege as always. I will consider that. Plus, I just like going for confusing raid messages, to be honest. I like raid messages that raise, like, concern, like, what? Huh? I don't know why, and I don't know what that says about me as a person. Oh, that sucks. Oh. If this has a leaf, we're fine. Okay, we're fine. Brief panic, but we're good. The reason for brief panic is because you can kind of take a shortcut by breaking through these. Wow, this is awkward with a star. Otherwise, you need to find like a P-switch, I'm pretty sure. Speaking of a P-switch, you actually do need to... Oh, that sucks. You actually do need to find a P-switch here. Take this door, and then you just sit here for like 10 seconds. I think that block is new. I don't remember that being there on NES. Anyway, second to last Boom Boom, I think. And Mario just gotta go slide into the end. Alright. 2 stages left. I had to stop and think for a moment. This is the shortcut. This is the right pipe. So yeah, there should be 2 more levels, so it looks like we're finishing as Mario unless we die. Like how many items we have? Like we kind of hoarded a bunch, which is like my MO for games. I've told the story before and I might as well tell it now. I don't know if I'll ever do a full FF7 playthrough, and if I do, it'll be in 2027 for the anniversary, probably. But I have a fun story about Final Fantasy 6 and 7 both. I did this in both games. So I over-prepare in RPGs. So what happened was, everyone is like, oh, the final boss of 6 is really hard. So I ended up getting Ultima. I ended up getting the 4 times magic and 4 times attack. Magitac? Or Magicite? Or whatever it's called in FF6. I don't remember the term now that I'm saying this out loud. Gotta save those 10 HP potions. Otherwise, are you really an RPG player? I got like 99 of every like high potions in like 6 and 7 both, I'm pretty sure. So like the quad magic I had on Ultima, and then the quad attack I had on like the best weapon. So I was dealing like 4 times 9,999 twice per turn. So, you know how like Dancing Mad is like simultaneously 10 minutes long, but is also considered one of the best boss themes, like final boss themes in any video game ever? I barely heard it. Like, everyone always hypes up Dancing Mad. I don't remember like anything about the song because it didn't play very long, because I just destroyed the final boss that quickly. It's one of those things that's simultaneously like kind of a bummer, like, oh, I kind of had a suboptimal experience because I curb stomped the boss too hard, but on the other hand, it's also kind of funny. And then flash forward to FF7, where I did the Gold Saucer like combat minigame, like enough times to get ribbons for everybody. For context, ribbons prevent status ailments, which is very helpful against Sephiroth. Well, that sucks. Because Sephiroth's like main attack can cause really bad status effects. So I basically stocked up on potions. I could not be hit by status effects. I was dealing a crap ton of damage. So I killed Sephiroth like by the end of the first chorus of One Winged Angel, to give like a time estimate. So like 3 minutes, I think, is how long it took me to kill Sephiroth. And again, it's one of those things where it's simultaneously maybe a little too easy for the final. Oh yeah, I had Knights of the Round. And I think I had like the W summon, so I could use Knights of the Round twice per turn, or something like that. I forget how it works. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII was another case of like, oh, this final boss is like so difficult. And I just like breezed through it because I over-prepared to an absurd degree. Like an absolutely ridiculous like degree of planning that was completely overkill for how difficult the fight actually was. And it was an interesting experience. And again, part 2 of this story, my first FF7 experience was actually Advent Children. It was not FF7 proper. I'd literally seen the movie that requires intimate knowledge of FF7 before actually playing FF7. So I saw Advent Children and thought, this fight scene is cool. There was like nothing plot-wise that I understand in this movie. So yeah, teenage me made interesting life choices when it comes to Final Fantasy. Then my first Final Fantasy ended up being 13. Well, it looks like Luigi's fighting Bowser. I should have done a prediction, actually. Not like I have anything else to use channel points on. The movie's more accessible. That was back when you could just look up a movie on YouTube, too. You know, you're preparing for everything. You play every RPG under-leveled. See, we'll get to Xenoblade stories, and frankly, I've talked about a few of them on Stars streams. You've managed to catch those. But yeah, I over-prepare a lot in RPGs. That's just how I play these games. I still have fun with them. Like, I feel like a lot of, like, advice tends to be, oh, don't over-level, because then you'll just breeze through everything. But I still enjoy, like, Xenoblade if I'm over-leveled or overpowered. Frankly, everything in Xenoblade is so spongy that being over-leveled doesn't really matter, in my opinion. That almost worked. I was trying to bait him over the small gap, but it didn't quite pan out. Shit. That's not great, actually. That's actually kind of bad, because getting out of this pit is gonna be... Never mind. By the way, you can actually die, even after this, because you're still in full control. You can just jump into the pit if you want. Obviously, I don't recommend, but that is something you have to look out for. Imagine, like, getting world record and accidentally falling into the pit. Like, how heartbreaking would that be? Anyway, that's Mario 3. We have saved the princess once again. What, third time in this little retrospective? Unfortunately, they got rid of the dialogue here. In the original, she says, like, the princess is in another castle. Just kidding. Or Bichuka, where he died to a fireball as Bowser fell to his death. Oh, I think I've seen that clip. New speedrun category? That would be a very funny speedrun category. To just make, like, an arbitrary category. Like, I have the world record of, like, Bowser pit percent. We actually have credits. I don't think Mario 3 originally had credits. It just showed, like, the worlds, basically. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, actually, you know, not crediting developers is not entirely a new thing for Nintendo, not saying that's a good thing, obviously. They should credit everybody. But a lot of times they just credit, like in a lot of remakes, actually, they just credit new staff on the remake and not on the actual, like, original. They'll just have a blurb being, like, original staff. And it became much more of an issue during the Switch era, but it's kind of been a problem, like, for longer than that, I feel. Because, like, it got pointed out with Metroid Prime Remastered, but it was also a problem for, like, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It was an issue for, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Like, basically almost every remaster of the Switch era has just said, like, original staff, and not actually listed the staff. Meanwhile, you have the Sonic Colors route of, let's make the credits 30 minutes long, because we are doubling the length of it. So I feel like there's an inherent fix. The obvious fix to this is just allow you to speed it up. Because, like, I think they should credit everybody. Yeah, like, here's a good example. Original SMB freestab. But this isn't a new thing to the Switch era. Like, this has just been a problem Nintendo's always had, for some reason. This problem with Repack. I never played Pac-Man World. I think my only experience with Pac-Man World was in a dentist office, where they had, like, a GameCube setup. Beyond that, I've never actually played those. I should. I hear they're alright games. But that, is a wrap for Super Mario Bros. 3. Again, actually I should save my thoughts for one moment, because there's one more thing I want to talk about. We got a little special, scene here, because it's Bowser's Castle. You actually have a world map in this version, unlike in the original, though, where you actually get all, P-Wings for your inventory. You don't get that in this. But this is kind of designed as like a new game plus, where you can go back and like perfect clear all the worlds if you haven't already. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, you can like replay every stage if you so desire. So again, kind of nice. I used to just play my favorite levels from like a completed file. Again, I got up to like 99 lives by doing that. And also, you have the ability to permanently save after beating the game, rather than just a quick save. Again, not an issue in NSO, you can quick save anywhere, or permanently save anywhere. The other big draw of NSO and Virtual Console versions of this game are level card. This is the e-reader levels, and they actually do include every e-reader level. Maybe someday on stream I'll go through all these, because some of them are really interesting. But given that this already took longer than I was hoping it would, I think I'm actually going to just wrap up here. Just for the sake of time, but just to point it out, because it's a cool little detail that you do have access to every e-reader level. So again, I think that kind of makes this the definitive edition of Mario 3. Actually, yeah, the music's nice. Let's send in this screen. I'll just ramble about the game a little bit. So yeah, Mario 3 is a game that is very important to me. I've played this game countless times on GBA especially, because it's a comfort game. It's a game I can finish relatively quickly. It's a game I can just kind of breeze through, not too much trouble, I say, as I died a lot more than I thought I would in this playthrough, but, you know, that aside, this was a pretty smooth playthrough, all things considered. It's just nice being able to revisit this game. It's nice being able to share my appreciation for this game, talk about a bunch of little details of it, show off some level of skill at this game. Again, not as much as I would have liked, but it's fine. So yeah, it's just kind of nice to revisit. And again, with all the Mario games we've gone through this year so far, Mario 1 through this, these are all games that mean a lot to me. Again, having grown up briefly with an NES and then a GBA after, not too long after, like a year or two, I'd say. I also had a PS1, we'll get to that later. I have a plan for PS1 and also more Game Boy Color stuff. But a lot of these games are just like very deeply nostalgic to me, like being able to remember level layouts, the music, the atmosphere. I think it's just kind of nice to revisit the old favorites from time to time, especially with how like tumultuous everything has felt in recent months, recent years really. And I'm glad to be able to like share this with everyone else through streaming. It means a lot that, you know, that people are able to show up when they can, hang out. But I kind of like, I enjoy this a lot, and again, I would like to get more consistent for streaming for two reasons. One, to get through this list of childhood games faster, and also to start doing other types of streams, game clearing, multiplayer. There's all sorts of different stuff. So hopefully at some point in 2025, I'll be able to get back onto a more consistent streaming schedule and be able to share my enjoyment of these games and future games too that I haven't ever played before. Again, I wanted to play Mario 3 before I jump into a game clearing option. So we might be starting that before too long. Again, for the Childhood Favorites series, I don't know what's next, because again, I could do something special I have planned. I could jump into Pikmin, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Yeah, this is still a game. Again, I've said so much about this game already, but I will always have a deep appreciation for this game. This probably kind of solidified my love of gaming in a way. I like Mario 1, and I thought Mario 2 was very hard, but still enjoyed some aspects of it. But Mario 3 is the first of the original trilogy that I like thoroughly enjoyed at this level. And it kind of solidified me as like a Mario fan. And yeah, for this like Fox Girls Favorites, as I've dubbed it, series, I guarantee this is not the last time we'll see Mario pop up. We'll definitely go through, again, I think I might move on to the 3D ones next. So next one for Mario will probably be Sunshine, but again, might take a break from Mario for a little bit for the sake of variety. Yeah, it was fun going through all the games again. Mario Deluxe is definitely rough around the edges because of the limited screen real estate. But it was fun getting to actually finish a version of Lost Levels without save states for the first time. It was not a clean run in the slightest, but... And also I used warps, but it was still a lot of fun. And again, surprisingly not that frustrating, because it just felt like a nice little challenge. Like, maybe I've gotten better... I've hopefully gotten better at games than, like, when I was 5. But it definitely felt like I was able to just kind of patiently work out what the game was throwing at me in a way that I was very much enjoying, actually. Despite Lost Levels having a very notorious reputation of being very difficult. And Mario 2 is another game that I have a lot of nostalgia for, even though it's not as much of a favorite for me. Mostly just, I find it very difficult. But again, now, and also with the GBA version having more forgiving health and live systems in place, yeah, that was a lot of fun to go through Advance again. But Mario 3 will always be my favorite, even in comparison to like World or anything after this point, really, because like, I like Wonder, I even like New Super Mario Bros., but I still say Mario 3 is my favorite, and yeah, is that nostalgia? To some extent, probably, to some level, but still, this is just a very fun game, and one that means a lot to me.